Alright, what is up, my flippin' mates? We are back with another mate raid on Maul Shadow Lord. Obviously I was very excited for this project because Darth Maul is such a good and cool villain. And of course I'm a big Sam Witwer stan because that guy can voice act insanely. Not to mention just his knowledge of Star Wars is insanely impressive. It's just, every time he speaks, every time I watch a short with him or a video with him, podcast, whatever, talking about Star Wars, it's fascinating and I can't help but listen. Now the Maul show takes place right after the events of the Clone Wars. And it seems like Maul is down on his luck yet again, just like when we saw him at the beginning of his entrance into the Clone Wars. He's lost like everything, you know, Mandalore. He's not a part of Mandalore anymore. Most of the criminals that he was associated with abandoned him, and he has just a few followers, some Mandalorians that stayed loyal and a couple Zabraks he picked up along the way. I also neglected to mention his spybot, which is like the funniest, most evil little bastard droid. I thought it was peak with Chopper. No, this guy is even more devious, and I'm all for it. He's one of my favorite droid characters now, for sure. And he's really itching for a new apprentice, and that's kind of the focus of the show, is him overcoming himself and wanting an apprentice. Throughout the show he battles his inner issues and traumas, which was so well done. There's so many cool edits. They altered some things, we'll say, to fit Maul's perspective, so it kind of makes the viewer like, wait, that's not how I remember it, and then, you know, but this is how Maul remembers it, which is very cool. Of course, the city it takes place in, as you see in the background, Janix. This is fucking cool. This is cyberpunky Star Wars at its peak, at its finest. Not to mention it's super awesome that they hand painted all of this, like, for the distance shots, and it just has this insane blend of practical and animation, and it's got this, like, everything's kind of screaming, especially Maul's lightsaber, which it literally screams with his voice. It's imbued with his screaming, and it's so eerie, it's so cool. Of course, the girl that he's trying to become his apprentice, which everyone thinks is going to be Darth Talon. I hope so. That would be awesome. Devin. She is a very well-written character, and so is her master. I think they have a good relationship, but there's flaws in it, and Maul is constantly trying to exploit those flaws, which is the most entertaining part of it, just seeing how Maul is trying to manipulate her to his side. The other characters, there is a cop, cool cyberpunk style cop. He was honestly one of my favorite side characters in a long time. This is like how Clone Wars was. Like, you introduce some cool side characters, and the cop was one of those. He also has a robot partner. We don't like that robot partner. You guys will see why. Two Boots. I'm not a Two Boots fan. He might have redeemed himself, but And his son gets involved pretty heavily in the story as well. And the cop is trying to capture Maul before the Empire comes, because the Empire is not on this planet yet, and he does not want that to happen because he knows all too well, because his wife is one. Some other important characters that came into the mix were, of course, the first brother, Marek, and the 11th brother, the Crow. These guys looked so cool when they first showed up in their respective shows. Ahsoka for the first brother, and the Ahsoka Jedi Tales of the Jedi episode where she just easily kills him, and he aura farmed for like 2 seconds and was easily killed. And Marek killed by Ahsoka too. So seeing these guys in full swing, just their voices were guttural and terrifying, and the way they moved was so unnatural. This is how Inquisitors should have been, like, the whole time. Not just cheesy cartoonish villains that aren't that good, and the lore reason is, oh, well, you know, they weren't meant to be that good, just good enough to hunt Jedi. And it's like, yeah, but it'd be cooler if some of them were terrifying, especially the ones you made look cool. So it was awesome seeing them and fight Maul. Maul is a little handicapped though, so it's a really good fight, and I don't think any of these fights make anyone less menacing particularly Maul, because he's at a very conflicted point and his leg is really screwing with him, and it's something they exploit when they fight him. Big spoiler alert, but I have to talk about it. Try not to have too many spoilers, but Darth Vader shows up in the last 2 episodes, and holy shit, I was getting goosebumps. Like, the way they animated him, he's very angry, he's very much more robotic than I think we've ever seen him, because this is year 1 Vader, as everyone's saying, and he moves like it, and he did not say a word, which was terrifying. And just seeing Maul actually get scared like he did with Palpatine, and he's trying to figure out who this is. He probably has an idea who it is, but he doesn't want to admit it, and it's just the stakes are so high in that fight, and it ends with him getting his apprentice finally. So that was masterclass. Just every episode was just like a chess game, and just the little details, the music. I loved how they incorporated Duel of the Fates throughout in unique ways. So it's not just ripped straight out of Phantom Menace, but it has different pitches and echoey tones. Not to mention most of the music is similar to the movies, because I feel like a lot of the Star Wars projects have missed the mark on incorporating like the main themes. That's something that definitely the sequels failed to do very much, but the Clone Wars was pretty solid with it. Rebels too, but Maul has done like the best sound work with like the original prequel soundtracks and original trilogy soundtracks, kind of remixing them in a way that suits the show and the characters. So what would I give Maul on the made rate? Well, I would give it a 10. It is like the best Star Wars project they have come out with in the Disney era, because of how in-depth it is, the acting, everything, all the little details. It's like how Star Wars should be. Like, there's care, there's love, there's so many layers to it, and I love it. And I feel like we've gotten good Star Wars projects that are, you know, 10s to like Andor. Rogue One was the best Disney movie that's come out, and there's been good seasons of The Mandalorian. Ahsoka was great too, but this just feels like I can't really criticize anything other than it wasn't long enough. Like, there's lots of little critiques, like Ahsoka had some tidbits that just were like, what? Like with freaking Sabine becoming a Jedi and then getting stabbed and surviving a wound very similar to Qui-Gon's, and it's kind of like a head scratcher, but there's not really much like that with this show, and I really hope that this is the future of Star Wars projects to come. That this is the standard of care, of detail, of practical effects, because that is what Star Wars is about. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Maul if you've seen it. Let me know what to review next. Thank you.